Good morning. How you doing? A client earlier this week said I was the Queen of Analogies. I will take that. I'm all over that. I mean, there could be a mouse mat coming, a t-shirt, a print. No, 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 no. Stay in your lane, Nikki, stay in your lane. But I just wanted to share something with you that I've noticed over the last few weeks, or I guess I've always noticed it, but in 2020, I've become even more aware of it. So I did my Movember challenge, and I've always shared with you that I absolutely love being outside. I mean, not dangling off a cliff by any means, but like we're really lucky here in North London. We live near Hampstead Heath and Highgate Woods and Queen Woods and Ali Pali, and I really find great solace in being outside and being in nature, as the Americans say. It really helps clear my head. It helps me focus. It's great for my creativity. Also, as well, I've got two children who are 5 and 1, and we don't stay inside all day. They need to run. Anyway, as I was saying, one of the things that I've become really aware of during 2020 are our local dogs. Now, we don't own a dog ourselves. It's just not a commitment I can really take on at this moment. But I do know quite a lot of the local dogs, our neighbours and ones that we just generally see out and about, and we'll always make a fuss of them and say hello and all the rest of it. And I was thinking about a dog's life. My goodness, how lovely, and how they sleep for big periods of the day, but also they really need that walking. And I was thinking about this in terms of mindset, that dogs really do lead the way. And there will be some things that they will know, their familiar walk, they know all the sniffs, they know all the moments where maybe even where they're going to go to the toilet, or where they're going to know that there's a cat that looks out from a particular window. They know they're ready to kind of have a bit of a bark, a bit of a conversation there. And it's really interesting when you see them in different environments. So my dad has a dog called Milo, who is a Cocker Spaniel. Milo is just, he's living his own life and he's living his own rules. Let's just say that. He's a really lovely dog, but he's very excitable and fun-loving. He's kind of like the last man at the festival type of situation. Like, I don't want to go home. I don't know where my friends are, but I'm having a really lovely time. And it's really interesting when I see him in different environments, that there'll sometimes be times where he'll get to go to a new place or a new field or a new walk, and he will lap it up. He will absolutely run and explore, and he's leaping about, and it's almost like that moment of like, he can't believe his luck. And actually, in those moments, he's much more attentive because he needs a bit of support, and he'll come back to you and he wants to play and chase the ball, etc. And then there's sometimes they'll try and mix it up, and he'll literally just lie down. I'm not interested. I don't want to do that. He might do a bit and then he'll go and lie down again. And I was thinking about this in terms of mindset and business and how we progress in terms of our own acceleration. And throughout this year, my business and where I want to take it, the clarity, it's almost like somebody's turned up that brightness, that I've really been able to connect with that. So for a long time, I was very much in that state of like, oh, I don't mind, or if I could just earn this, like it would be fine, or I'll just wait and see. Now, so for some people, that might be like, yes, Nikki, just do that. Like, that's a good spot to be, especially in 2020, etc. But for me, I don't like feeling like I'm not tapping into the full version of myself. And for you, my full version might be very different. Of course, we talk about this on the podcast all the time. It's all about your version of success. But there's sometimes moments when, you know yourself, when you've done something and you go, I don't feel like I gave that my best shot, or I could have done more there, Or why didn't I mention this, this and this? Because those are, oh goodness, and you kick yourself. That's kind of how I was feeling with my life a little bit. I didn't feel like I was quite playing full out. I was a bit stop-start. I was almost putting the ball into somebody else's court to extrapolate all of those things from me. And I got to a stage at the beginning of this year, all before COVID, and not that, well, COVID was around, but we didn't feel like we were really acutely aware of it in the UK, and certainly not the intensity and of it. But certainly at the beginning of the year, when I started working with my coach for a year, I had all those questions of like, do I just want to carry on being the same? Or do I actually want to wait and see? Do I actually want to say that things are okay when I know there's more? And these are big, challenging questions, because in doing that, there's a lot of old programming that needs to be undone. For example, I grew up and not wanting to stand out. I grew up in a small village, and actually it wasn't seen as polite. People would actually disregard you if they thought you were showing off, or they'd whisper behind your back in the local pub when you walked in if something had happened. I mean, you know, it all sounds very Coronation Street, but it's true. So going back to those senses of like old cultures of like leaving the tribe or working out on your own, this felt like a very real thing when I was growing up. So what I want to invite you to do is to notice what is going on for you. And do you know what? That phrase, isn't it? Like, we're all in the same storm, but we're in very different boats. So actually, for you, you might just want to consistently do that same dog walk in terms of your own business trajectory every single day. Like the fact that you are getting out and you are walking and you are doing the things and you are emailing and you are working with clients and, you know, you've got the money flowing and all the rest of it, like that might be enough for now. And you know what? There are times like that. I've often mentioned it, like when I had Luna, it was about just doing those regular things. Just keep doing those regular things that are going to lead to consistency in my business. However, when I've made decisions of going, right, am I going to go for this? Or, oh, I want to do this. Like one of my goals in the summer was to do more acting. And since then, I landed my biggest acting job ever, which you might see, I don't know, in the new year perhaps. And that felt like a huge achievement, but I really made it part of the process. I kind of considered it done. Like this is another law of attraction scenario for another day. But I really gave myself permission that that's what I wanted. However, in order for that to happen, I had to make some different decisions. So, for example, bringing that goal to life and saying, right, I want to operate in terms of my acting at a different level. What do I need to do? Well, one thing that I needed to do, so I guess this is like going back to the dog analogy, I needed to go on different walks and try different things. So one of the things that I knew I had to do was get really comfortable in my body again. And I'm not there by any means, you know, this is a work in progress for me. But I wanted to get to a stage where I kind of felt comfortable in my clothes. And this is not about being, you know, a particular size or a particular weight, but you know yourself when you feel good and when you don't feel good. And when you feel, I mean, I actually said this to Matty, which at that point he looked at me like, what do you want to do, porn? I sort of said to him, like, I want to be and feel really comfortable being shot from any angle. He just looked at me like, okay, are you going to be wearing clothes for this? What are you going to be doing? But it really made me laugh because it was, you know, that was a very real kind of goal for me. You know, when you go and do these acting jobs, you have a wardrobe fitting and you literally have to stand there and they have, I don't know, 20 different things that you have to try on. And they're not always your choice, but you have to make them work. You have to fulfill the client's brief or the director's brief. And I didn't want to have that stage of going, oh, I feel a bit this, I feel a bit it, whatever. So I had to kind of get used to clearing the way and taking action and making decisions about what I needed to do in order to make that come forward. So people always talk about like meeting the universe halfway. And I have to say, I had many of those equivalent of a dog lying down going, nope, don't want to do that. No, it's too hard. No, like not today. And, I listen to that sometimes. And there are times, especially if I've been up all night with the kids, where I'm not going to go, you know what, guys, I'm just going to push through and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Because actually that's not helpful sometimes, pushing through for the sake of it and not living your best life or listening to your body is not the one either. But I had to come to the realization, going back to that phrase of, what's got you here is not necessarily going to get you there, and to make some really firm decisions about the action that I was going to take. Because I have realised that actually nobody is going to come and rescue me. Nobody is going to send the finger down, like on the national lottery moment of like, it's you, and pluck me from obscurity. I have to be ready to meet the opportunity. I have to be willing to, if I was going back to the dog walk, I have to be willing to go and play in different fields sometimes. I have to be willing to not just do the easy things. And I feel really emotional saying that because we want to do the easy things sometimes. Actually, the stretchy things are not easy. And people talk about going to the next level and up-leveling and all of that. Like, I'm finding like who I'm supposed to be. They talk about it in this sort of shampoo advert, where they're moving through water and their hair is sort of blowing backwards, or they're on the back of a motorbike and they're really, this is how we see it in adverts, isn't it? Like we see them feeling really exhilarated. But for me, is that what up-leveling looks like? No, it looks like a terrible picture that you would see at Alton Towers, where you're clinging on for dear life, you're screaming, your tongue's hanging out, you might look like you're going to puke or something like that. That's what that looks like sometimes. And that's not continuous, that's sort of like the first time that you do it, or the second time, until you start to hone that skill, until you start to master it. But I want to say also, if people just say it's easy, or just do these three things and overnight you will have X, Y, and Z, be really careful about what you listen to in that, because I've never found it that, well, of all the skills that I've kind of honed over the years, very few of them are like completely natural. If, for example, if I suddenly picked up crazy golf, of course I'm coordinated, but am I going to pick it up and at the age of 39 go, do you know what? I think I could be an international champion at this. Probably not. But if I do it several times, I'm probably going to get a little bit better. I'm probably going to be able to find my way of doing this. So I want to leave all that with you today, and bear in mind what you really want over the next couple of months. And what does that rhythm look like for you? What does that pattern look like? And therefore, reverse engineer the process and ask yourself, so therefore, what do I need to do in this situation? Where do I need to put myself in order to progress? How do I need to show up, and what do I need to see as possible in order to keep moving forward? So another practical thing, I guess, that's happened for me is there are some Facebook groups now that just no longer feel a match. I'm really conscious about who I spend time with, and where what am I trying to say? Like where I need to place my focus. So I'm really careful about leaking my energy and what I share with people and how I'm operating, I guess. Because it can be really easy to get stuck in old old habits, old behaviors, all that kind of stuff. So I have to be really conscious about making sure I'm making the decisions that are going to take me to where I ultimately want to be. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. As always, you know that I'm here. So do let me know, and do leave a comment down below, or a 5-star rating. That would be lovely as well. And feel free to book in a free 15-minute session via my website. I would love to hear what you would like to do. Also, your personal brand plan is live, and there are 2 brand new options. So there is a done with me and there's a DIY option. So if you're really looking to take your personal brand to the next level in the new year, I would love to support you. All right, I will leave it there. Have a lovely Sunday, whatever you're doing. I'm actually going to have a nap at lunchtime. So therefore, I'm talking about, going to the next level and all that jazzy stuff. But I know, again, it's not all about that output stuff. It's about resting as well. Oh, why didn't anybody tell me about this? But it's so powerful. Anyway, have a lovely day, whatever you're doing. Lots of love, and speak soon. Bye.